I'm Jolene Cornelson, holistic nurse, sharing about compassion healing for the inner child. In psychotherapy trauma healing, it is known that self-defeating tendencies often originate from adverse childhood experiences. Some call this developmental trauma or childhood trauma. But whatever you call it, the truth is, we all experience adversities and challenges during childhood that affect the way we live our lives. Although childhood may be long gone, and we may have accomplished many milestones in life, until the inner conflict caused by toxic childhood experiences is acknowledged, processed, and resolved, we often continue to look at our present life circumstances through the lens of childhood experiences. Now, some of those experiences were empowering, but others were traumatic. As grown-ups, we have more control over how we live our lives. We may have promised ourselves that we would never do the things that we didn't like that happened to us when we were children. But we find ourselves stuck and doing the same old things when we're under stress that we saw our parents do. As grown-ups, we still may suffer from issues such as low self-worth, the inability to make decisions, choosing incompatible partners, overcompensating, people-pleasing, codependency, shame, being easily triggered emotionally, caught up in addictive behaviors, or other chronic and debilitating traits. We may understand that our unhealthy reactions to current situations have been set up or predetermined by what we experienced as children, but we don't know how to fix any of it. We may wonder why we can't seem to cope with life or with responsibility as other people seem to do. We may find ourselves unable to focus, unable to complete a course of study or to support ourselves financially. We may struggle to create or sustain healthy intimacy, or to be the parents for our children in the way that we would really like to be. We don't know how to solve the situation we find ourselves in, so maybe we play the blame game. We blame others or ourselves, or we just decide there's something inherently wrong with us. Well, if you're watching this video, you have already accomplished the first big step in the process of healing, because healing begins with conscious recognition or awareness of the need for change. This awareness can come from you personally realizing that the way you are approaching life is not giving you the results that you want to experience. Some people have to hit rock bottom before we become aware of the need to change. Once you become aware, the next step is to allow yourself to hope that real change is possible. Now, this hope can come from seeing others make positive changes and learning how they have approached their process. But then you have to figure out if change is possible for you. Now, self-help and personal development books, courses, programs, and therapists and coaches can be found almost anywhere these days. Connections and sessions are easily available online or locally in health and wellness clinics. There are hundreds of holistic healing modalities that can help you shift out of disempowering thought and behavior patterns and into more empowering and soul-satisfying ways of being. The thing is, you don't have to do all of them to be able to find your way to healing. Any of them that resonate with you will do just fine. Just know that authentic healing is a process. It's a peeling away of the habits of coping strategies and defenses that you picked up in the past just to survive. but these things no longer serve you well in your current situation. Sometimes you have to go back to the beginning of it all and work on healing your inner child in order to empower your grown-up self to feel whole, well, and on purpose. When it comes to healing your inner child, you will need to resolve old unhelpful perceptions and patterns that you picked up in the past. This is both physical and emotional. To acknowledge what happened then, how you felt about it, how you coped, and now all aspects of your consciousness can come into harmony. The biochemical stress energies that are produced in times of trauma or shock are a natural, normal function of your autonomic nervous system. They are designed to help you survive immediate threat and then to resolve when the threat is no longer present. This allows your systems to return to a normal state of being where you can rest, grow, and learn. But if the threat response is interrupted or not resolved, or if it is triggered repeatedly, it can become a chronic state of being. It's possible to get stuck in the fight, flight, freeze response and never truly return to a felt sense of grace, relaxation, or ease. For people like this in this situation, stress becomes the norm. But remember, your body keeps the score. It will store unprocessed stress chemistry as blocked energy, and you will find yourself with personality characteristics like being easily emotionally triggered, procrastination, overachieving, people-pleasing, depression, anxiety, avoidance, disassociation, dysfunctional relationships, and more. Some of these off-balance perceptions and patterns can even be passed down through generations or developed simply as coping techniques. But if never addressed or resolved, they can emerge in the form of mental or physical disease or dysfunction even decades after the childhood situations no longer exist. The good news is, advances in neuroscience, psychology, and holistic medicine have shown that many options are available. You can use these to resolve and process out those old imbalances. You can retrain yourselves and your systems and allow a new sense of wholeness to emerge. Go back to the beginning. Now, you don't necessarily need to re-experience all the adversities that caused you stress by recounting them moment by moment, but do go back to the beginning in terms of remembering yourself as a little child, having had a stressful experiencing, and remember the emotions that you felt then. If this process is too scary for you to do on your own, then only do it when in session with a skilled, compassionate practitioner. The last thing you want to do is to re-traumatize your inner self. The goal here is to send compassion, understanding, love, and support to that inner child so they can find their way to allowing the emotional reaction to complete its energetic process. And then they can relax, because in that relaxation, a safe, supported space, then the body, the mind, and the spirit can find its way to integration and healing. Now again, there are many holistic healing processes that can be helpful in healing the inner child. One of the most simple and effective things you can do for your own inner child is to reassure them that everything will be all right, to express appreciation and understanding for what they have experienced, and to mentally and emotionally give them the hugs and love that they missed out on, that you missed out on when you were them, when you were that child. Psychology research tells us that another very important part of healing is to integrate sensory and narrative memory. Sensory means physical, narrative means words. In traumatic situations, one of the ways the brain helps you survive is to disassociate from what is happening. So these two different parts of the brain hold different types of memory, and they disassociate from each other during that stressful experience. So if you can visualize that inner you, the one who experienced the stress, and allow that inner you to give voice to how you feel or how you felt, and then you, as the grown-up person, give them reassurance, this can be a very healing process because it puts words to the feelings, integrating these two types of memory together. This way the psyche can make sense of it, and the unprocessed stress chemistry in your body can be resolved and released. When you do this process, whether on your own in meditation or with a skilled, compassionate trauma therapist, pay attention to how you feel in your body before, during, and after the process. If you can notice any relaxation, a sigh, relaxing of muscles, an energetic shift, a release of any kind, then you can know that your body chemistry is shifting from the stress reaction to relaxation, and healing is in process. That's a good thing. Another way to integrate narrative memory with sensory memory and allow your inner child to shift out of the stress response and into the relaxation response so healing can happen is to journal, to actually write things down. Consider even writing down a letter to your inner child. Express compassion and gratitude to them. Here's a sample of a letter to your inner child. You can use it as it is and write it out in your journal, or take it as a sample and write your own more specific letter to your own inner child. I'll read it to you here. You ready? Dear inner child, thank you for being so strong and resilient in the face of all the trauma and chaos you experienced. I know it has been difficult for you, and yet you held on and never gave up. You are brave and courageous beyond measure. I want you to know that you no longer have to be afraid. You are safe now. You can relax and allow healing to happen. I love you so very much, and I will do all I can to help you heal, to feel safe, loved, and cherished. You are worthy and deserving of a happy, healthy life. With lots of love, your grown-up self. Humans are designed to need one another. We survive and thrive within supportive connection. As helpless infants, we need more than just a diaper change and a bottle of milk. Our nervous systems are undeveloped, and we do not yet have words, and yet we can sense whether we are safe or unsafe in any given moment. As we are all human, we are all fallible, especially when we're under stress. And what family has never experienced stress? Maybe it's time to forgive ourselves for being human and therefore fallible. And therefore, maybe it's time to choose to heal from old hurts and do what it takes to bring ourselves into our full personal power in the present. Healing the inner child can be part of that process. Your compassion can soften hearts, defuse crisis, resolve old stresses, and empower positive outcomes for current situations. Some people are easily able to naturally apply and share the gift of pure compassion. Others need a little help learning how to do it, but all of us benefit by pure compassion, however it is expressed. Pure compassion can help heal the deepest wounds. I'm Jolene Cornelson, holistic nurse and certified trauma therapist. God bless you on your healing journey. Thank you, thank you, thank you.